Hey everybody, it's Keith Walls with Abernathy Performing Arts, and today I'm going to do a stretch and release class. I've been working out over the last few weeks, and so I'm getting kind of sore, and I thought that this would be a great day to film a video about how to relieve some of that soreness and stiffness in your body so you can continue on the rest of the day or the rest of the week with hopefully a little less stiffness, a little less soreness. Probably not going to totally go away, but there's different things you can do to help, and I'm going to try to show you some of those today. So before I get started with some of these, I'm going to take myself through a quick kind of what I think of as a warm-up for something like this. Now I'm not going to warm myself up for like a full workout because I'm going to be doing some releases, and so I'm just going to get my body warmed up so my joints are a little bit loosened up and my muscles are a little bit more flexible. So I start out by taking a few big breaths in, and then I reach all the way down, soften my knees, plie and roll up. A lot of you have seen these before. I really like to start with the spine, so really opening up that spinal column, and that rolling up there is a really important part. So I'm stretching those long fascia bands down the backs of my body. And plie, and this roll up is really important, getting that spine kind of all wound up. Let's take a couple of release stretches to the side. So I'm really trying to focus on releasing some of that tension along the side of my body. Then roll through my back, stretch to the other side, and then come up. Let's go the other way. Big stretch over, and release, let that back warm up, and over this way. And let's do one more each side. That feels really good. Over and release. Come around and up. And then one more. Over. Release. Come around. And up. Now I'm going to take it down to the mat. So I'm just going to go on my hands and knees. Nice and easy. I'm going to start out with just a few cat and cows, guys. So I'm going to just stack my hands and line up my shoulders and my hands together, line up my knees and my hips. And I'm just going to take a nice big breath in, release my back into that cow, and then I'm going to breathe out and press into my cat. And then again on that breath in, into my cow, and then out of the cat. My last one here. I'm going to press back and release down into that child's pose. Reaching out, relaxing my lower back. In this position, I like to rock my hips from side to side. Releases a little bit of tension across my low back and the top of my hips. Good. Coming back up. Go back to that stacked position here, and I'm going to do a thread the needle. So I really stretch up, and then I thread this through, and I set my shoulder down. In this position, you get a really long stretch across the back. I can actually feel this hip getting pulled because I'm kind of pressing into it. And then I can push that hip away a little bit. And get this beautiful stretch across the back. Feels so good. And then come up, switch to the other side. Come up from there, I go ahead and press up into a downward dog. Kind of push back. Relevate up on my toes. Release my heels down. Then I plie and then stretch. And I do that 4 times. Releve up, release down, plie, and stretch, and up, release down, plie, and stretch. One more. Releve up, release down, plie, and stretch. Go ahead and now turn over. We're going to lay down on our backs. And I'm going to open up my hips and my low back a little bit more. So I'm going to let my legs drop off to the side while keeping my shoulder blades, my arms, my shoulders down. It's going to give me a low stretch in my low back. I'm not pushing. I'm just relaxing that down. And then I switch over to the other side. You can kind of see it better on this side what I'm doing. So this is off the ground, so you can see that my shoulder blades and my arms, my upper back remain on the ground as I'm letting this twist open a little bit, my low back. And I go 4 times. One side, and switch. If you want a little bit more of a stretch, you can begin to kind of push those knees down. They're not very close to the ground. Stretches across the hips in the front here, as well as the low back. Good. Then I just switch, cross my foot over my knee, have this knee open, and I'm going to grab that leg here. I'm going to lay back down, relax my back, right? And I'm just going to hold for a little bit, maybe count to 8. Do some breathing in and out through your nose. In through your nose and out through your mouth is really great. After I've done that a few times, I'm just going to do a gentle rock. Okay, this just feels really great on the hips. Again, I'm not trying to push for flexibility at this moment. Just opening some things up. Right? Put that foot down. Gently press this knee down if you need to. Get the hip to open up in the front here. Good, and then switch sides. Go ahead and cross that over. Grab, I like to grab underneath this other leg, so then this leg I can have free to kind of move it around a little bit. Again, I hold, this is my little bit tighter side, so I tend to hold this one a little bit longer. Taking a couple deep breaths in and out in through your nose and out through your mouth. And then that gentle rock side to side. Good. Putting that one down and just pressing that knee, pushing that leg open. Just stretch there in the front. Good. I flip over to my stomach after that. I'm on my elbows, my forearms, got my hands out in front of me. Stretching my legs out here, obviously. And then all I really do is just relax in this position. Take a couple deep breaths in and out. Maybe relax my head down. Good. Sometimes I like to rock side to side again. I feel a nice stretch across my abdominal muscles. So if your abs are tight, this is a really great one. Just kind of rock side to side and feel those tension points. Okay. Then I'm going to release down, put my hands here at my side. I'm going to stretch up, and I'm not even going to straighten my arms all the way out right now. My back's a little tight. I'm going to try to relax my shoulders down, relax my head. I'm going to take a big breath in and then release. Really want my abdominals to release here. So I'm going to breathe in, allowing my stomach muscles to stretch, and then maybe I lift all the way up, drop that head down. Down. Press up and back. Finish with the child's pose. Again, I go right into rocking those hips side to side. That's where I'm really tight across the top of my hips. into my low back. And this just feels really good. All right, so that's kind of my opening up. Now I'm going to grab a few of my tools that I like to use. If I'm really tight and really stiff, these come in really handy. So I brought a couple of foam rollers. Each one of these have a little bit different density to them. So this one's a little bit softer, so I kind of start out with this one and see how I feel. That blue one's a little bit more dense and it pushes into the muscles a little bit more. So it can be kind of painful at first. So I start out with this one, put it down, and just roll, give my back a little roll out. Here's some snap, crackle, pops probably. I just start here on my low back, and then I just roll through all the way to my upper back, into my neck. And I release there for a minute, and I roll back. Kind of not doing it fast because I want to feel the spot that it's hitting, right? To get to my low back, I come up off of it because I don't like to put a lot of pressure at that point into it, and I come back again, slowly start to roll. Worked out a few pops there. Got a tight spot right in the middle there, so I'm going to focus on it for just a second, and then release. So there's a lot of things you can do with these foam rollers that help out, right? So I start out with that one for that. Then I'm going to move into my blue one. A bit more dense, so see if we get any more snaps and pops out of there. Right here, across my shoulder blades get really tight, so I'm going to focus on that for a minute. And maybe I release over that. So remember, if you're wanting to work on your flexibility, you really want to focus on your spinal column and decide where you're getting a lot of tension down that spine. So it could be right here at the top, coming out of the neck in your suboccipital lobe. A lot of people have a lot of tension in that spot. So you want to take a minute to maybe work that out, because if you've got a lot of tension that you hold in your neck, a lot of people probably feeling a little stressed right now. And so starting out with a little bit of a suboccipital lobe massage, just right through that part of the neck where the hairline and the neck come together. And then there's a gentle pull out to the sides, right? Start to release some of that tension. And then just work down the neck. You can start at that top of the back here as it comes up through, and kind of pull that open. And if that feels really tight, focus on that for a few minutes, and that can be really super beneficial, because if you're getting a lot of tension in that area, everything else is shut down dry, so you're not going to get much out of your flexibility in this moment. So I'm going to hold on to this one and do some of my hips. So I like to go into my hips after I do my back, and I go right to the blue one because I don't need to be nice to my hips. They need a little bit more aggressive treatment. So it's not great to sometimes roll out things for a very long time, because you create fatigue in that area and you kind of deactivate it. So when you're rolling out your muscles and your tendons, it actually begins to kind of shut them off. They get a little bit, I guess, a little bit less responsive. They're just not going to fire very quickly. So you wouldn't want to do any of these things like for very long right before you're going to take class, or right before a really intense workout, because you're then going to have some problems from that. So you want to do this more at the end of the day, or maybe pretty early in the morning to do these rolling out. I'm rolling out my hip and my piriformis right now because that's where I get a lot of tension. So I'm going to just focus on that for a few minutes, and then I'm going to take it down my leg into my IT band, which is really tight right now. You kind of roll that out all the way to my hip, and then down to my knee. And then I just kind of move through that all the way to my hip flexor, and then down. Okay? And then switch to the other side. Again, you might need to spend more time on that, or less. Just understanding why you're doing it. I'm just a little sore today from exercising and working out, so I'm just trying to get these muscles to kind of relax a bit. So I'm not trying to do anything therapeutic with this stretch or this technique right now. I'm just trying to release some tension. A lot of the times if you're experiencing a problem or you have a really tight area that becomes painful, you would definitely want to consult a professional. So talking to your doctor or a trusted chiropractor or physical therapist or something to make sure that the things that you're choosing to do are actually going to contribute to your health and your healing and not the other way around. I have caught myself actually doing the opposite, thinking that I was doing something healthy for my body when in fact I really didn't understand maybe my injury, and so I didn't really know what the best approach was. And so you want to definitely make sure you do a lot of research on your own. I always say you're your best doctor in a sense for a while because you know how you feel. And then if you're not getting much results there, then definitely look to your trusted physical therapists and chiropractors and things like that to work out those next issues. I have been seeing a chiropractor for probably about 5 or 6 years now, and I've really worked out a lot of issues that I've developed. And so dancers, we tend to have very kind of specific things. Not everybody gets them, but a lot of development of overusage of the piriformis. So the piriformis being that biggest rotational muscle here along the backside here between the seat and the leg. And that muscle, the piriformis, is what really gives us that external rotation for ballet and dance. Okay? And so rolling out, you're good to go. I think you can always do some stretches with your TheraBand, but I'm going to finish off today with just a few things with different balls. You probably have one of these balls at your house. Tennis ball, baseball, and this is the lacrosse ball. The lacrosse ball is the one that I always like, unless I'm really sore, then I go to the tennis ball. If I need to really dig into my muscle and my tissue, I use maybe something a little bit harder like that one. So I'm going to do just 4 areas, my hips and my feet really fast. So I'm going to start with this one because my hips are pretty sore. I'm going to go right on that piriformis and I'm just going to sit on it. So I put it right on my piriformis in my tight spot and I'm going to sit on it in those tight spots. I'm not going to roll around. So you do not, when you're doing these type of things, necessarily want to roll around on it. You just want to sit and relax on it. So maybe taking about 4 to 5 breaths in and out, right? And then maybe moving into a new area. I kind of go right to those spots that I know that get a lot of tension in them, and I just sit. If you get to a very painful spot, you're maybe sitting on a nerve, so move the ball a little bit and get off of it. Right? Okay, I'm gonna switch to my other side. Do one little bit on that side. It is my right side that gets way more tense. So on I have what they call piriformis syndrome on my right side, where the sciatic nerve pierces through the piriformis and creates a lot of sciatic tension. If you don't know what that is, I suggest you look into it. But if you have sciatic problems and you're a dancer, you might have what is known as piriformis syndrome. So you want to look that up and consult your doctor and get some help there. Last thing to do, get those feet worked out. So I'm just going to roll my foot out. Now here, I just press into this. You can do a smaller ball like a golf ball, but it's really great to just work into your arches, really work around the ball of your foot, then switch feet and do the other side. I suggest doing that for a couple minutes on each side, and should hopefully relieve a lot of tension down at your feet. Dancers should focus on a lot of releases into their feet. So in a future video, I'll show you a little bit more in-depth releases on those feet. So I hope this helped today and enjoys a little bit of a stretch and a little bit of release. And I'll see you next time.